G'day guys, Stephen Evans here, and I'm here with 𝗏𝗵𝘂.
Hey, g'day guys.
And welcome to episode 4 of Macrocosm. Today we're going to try something different. We're going to discuss 2 movies. First off, we're going to do Shaun of the Dead, and then second, we're going to do Hot Fuzz. So let's get into it.
All right, I'll start us off with a little movie description here. It's a man's uneventful life is disrupted by the zombie apocalypse, which is a perfect, nice little crisp sentence.
Yeah, it's good.
Wraps the whole movie up there. So we got 𝗏𝗵𝘂𝘂 as Shaun, obviously, Shaun of the Dead. We've got Nick Frost as Ed. And we've got a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
They're the main 2.
Yeah, they really are.
Right. So you got what's your opening up notes there, Stephen?
Pretty much might just go straight into it. Did you have any thoughts of just like initially seeing it?
Well, initially the feelings of putting it on and like setting it up to do a review, because it's almost like a first time viewing it in this mind state. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was actually very exciting because I felt like I was watching it for the first time, like trying to pick up on things, trying to connect the dots. Like obviously I've watched it a billion times because it's like one of my favorite movies, but I haven't analyzed it. You know what I mean? So it was quite exciting. What about you?
Yeah, no, it's I find it hard taking notes on ones that I've already seen because it's like I don't want to write too many notes, you know? Like you don't want to go crazy.
Yeah, you don't want to overload.
Yeah, so it's like what actually is important and what isn't is I find it more difficult to go through. But yeah, it was good. I hadn't seen it for a while, so probably had been maybe a year since I've seen it.
Yeah, I generally, I'm probably view all of the, like, you know, the 3 flavors 𝗏𝗃 trilogy. I'll probably watch all of them 3, once every 2 years, generally speaking. Or, you know, when you can't think of something to put on late at night and you've just got it there, you're just like, fuck it, whack it on, fall asleep.
Exactly. So, yes. So straight away, the first scene is like they're in the bar, like a little intro thing. And that's when you get to meet all the characters straight away. That's pretty good, I guess. That's a good idea.
I think it's cool. It's like all of the soon-to-be zombies and like the intro scene, like where they're like dancing and walking and shit.
Yeah,
I like how it's it shows you pretty much all the characters that you're gonna be seeing, like the background characters.
Yeah, because they got that the girl in the grocery store, and then she comes back
grocery
in later.
Store. You know, it happens heaps throughout the movie, you know, the little boy kicking the ball, all these different things, you know. I love that part. That's why it's exciting to watch it.
I meant more though the bit, like right at the start, you're in the pub with Nick and, what's his name? What are their characters' names? Ed and Shaun.
And Ed and Shaun. Who's Nick? Where'd you get Nick from?
From Hot Fuzz.
Nick Frost. Nick Frost.
No, I was thinking Nicholas.
Oh yeah, and he's Nicholas as well. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Oh shit.
No, we got Ed and Shaun.
Yeah, so
it opens up with Shaun talking to Liz, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. And then Ed's like there in the back. That's quite funny.
I thought it's hilarious. He's like, I like it when Liz accuses Ed and Shaun of being like more of a relationship than they are or something, you know what I mean? And then he's like, no, not at all. And Ed comes over and goes, I'll get you a beer, love, and grabs him one and brings it over. And he's like, and Shaun replies, thanks, babe, and like winks at him. Just straight away disproves it.
that bit's later on, but yeah, that's
oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. You know what I mean.
But anyway, it relates.
Yeah, fucking tangent.
Yeah, and then like you say, that everyone's like pans across the streets going to Shaun's house, everything.
Yeah,
soccer ball and all that. Yeah, you know that bit straight away, like after the intro stuff. It's like Shaun, like he's walking, like he's just waking up and he's like walking towards the camera.
Yeah, and he's stumbling through the kitchen and and then he does the yawn. Yep, exactly. It's letting the audience know exactly what the movie's about.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty good, and that was like almost I don't know about needed, but it fitted in nicely in that movie. I think it was a good scene.
And they could have made it way worse. If you think about it, like he could have been stumbling way more and could have made it like played on it way more, but he just kept it pretty simple, just yawning, waking up kind of thing. It wasn't too overdone.
No, yeah, it was well done. And then, like you said before, because he goes to the corner store to get, I don't know, whatever he's getting, and you see the boy kick the soccer ball at him. Then he sees the.
He's getting a It's kind of important. He's going to this corner store to get a 𝗙𝗃.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like that's their thing.
Yeah, they do that in all the movies.
Yeah.
And then he trips on the curb as well.
Yeah.
I like that whole scene, and because then later on he does it again, but this time there's no boy with a soccer ball, there's no homeless guy, but he still trips on the curb.
That's his life. That's his life, isn't it?
Like on repeat. He just forgets the curb every time.
Yeah.
Pick your feet up, but no, he's too lazy.
But he's kind of like blind to the world. I think that's what they're trying to portray. Like he's just doing nothing, and he's stumbling through. They even show that later on. You see where he's like he walks past all of like the blood and shit in that same store.
Yeah, he trips
and he just grabs the thing he wants. It's like. It just shows how mind-numbing he is. Yeah, I know exactly. He just slips in the blood as well.
So that's a very good. Those two times that happens are very connected. Like it's good. It's So what have you got now? What?
Well, I like because obviously he has to make the. Was he meant to make an anniversary or something like that? They're going out to a place, but I like all the little things like he's at work. He's not meant to take personal calls because he just told one of the employees off for doing that. And now he's there. He's like, sorry, yep, no, sure, yep. Totally. He's just saying yes on the phone to make it seem like it, making it seem like exactly not paying attention, which is the reason why she later breaks up with him. But what does he do? It keeps coming up later on. The bloody you've got red on you. Sorry, as well. That happens in that scene. Yeah.
I love
that. But you see the problem with I love the you've got red on you because it starts off with that a young employee
with the pen,
that takes the phone.
Yeah.
But he takes the phone in the meeting, which causes Shaun to accidentally flick his pen, which breaks the pen, which then he puts the pen in his pocket, and from now on, throughout the movie, it's you've got red on you.
I totally didn't notice that. I think you've told me before, but I totally forgot because he throws the pen or whatever, and
totally because he's just flicking it because he's leading the meeting or whatever, and then the phone rings and he accidentally throws it, which then breaks
totally
it and blah blah blah.
Did not connect that to that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
They've got so many little Easter eggs, man. There's so many little cool things.
So there's a scene there where he's at work, right? I thought this was like really clever. So he's talking to some customers, and he's got the TV remote. He's flicking through the channels, and so he's changing channels, but everything that's said on each channel makes one big story or one big sentence, and it connects.
Even though he's flashing through it, it takes you like 3 words from that channel, a couple words from and it all connects. I like it when they do that.
They do it like 2 or 3 times throughout the movie, and I just think it's really clever.
And same thing with when the the jukebox turns on and stuff like that. There's like Killer Queen and stuff. It's kind of like a rev there, and I think that's pretty cool. It's on random. All right. So I like so where are we? We don't want to skip so far. We got
also what you were saying about with the girlfriend. She left a message on the phone as well to change the booking that he actually never made. The booking.
That's why he's trying to call up, and I don't know why I remember the scene so distinctly. Like he's calling up the place to try and finally make the order, and they won't do it. And he's like bites his phone, and then bites their hands. And all I thought was like, ugh, that's disgusting. Putting all those grubby fingers in your mouth. Yes. That must just be the hyperlized time, or being so fucking hyper aware of germs right now.
Yeah. So I think after that, he sees his stepfather at work. That's not really too important. And then they go back home, don't they? Is that
something along those lines? But he calls up. I think after it, I must have skipped a little ahead there, but like just after that phone call where he bites the phone call, he has to call Liz, and he says, "Yeah, sorry, couldn't change the time. They were full up or something."
Yeah, that's right. And she's like, "Oh, you didn't book, did you?"
Yeah, exactly. She calls his bluff straight away. Yeah. She knows his shit. He's a fuckhead.
He's trying to scrape his way out of it.
And so she like hangs up on him, and he runs over there to her apartment, and I like this part where he gets there, he rings the bell, and they're like her flatmates.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. I haven't even written that bit. Wow.
No, yeah.
No, you keep going. I'm just going to put my notes.
Yeah, you fucking better. The bloody, when he gets there, he rings the doorbell, the flatmates answer, and they say along the lines of, she doesn't want to see you or whatever, and he threatens to climb the bloody drain pipe to get up there. Oh, yeah. And he attempts, but like they can hear the rumbling out the windows, but he fails, and he straight away presses the door buzzer again. And I thought that's hilarious because he's just like, there's no fucking way he was going to climb up there. But that's also a reference to later on because he actually does when he needs to.
Yeah, and then when he's in the
so he gets up there.
Yeah, when he's in the apartment, there's like a bit where she's telling him like all these flaws or whatever, all these things he shouldn't do with that. And he's like, all right, I can give up smoking whenever I want. And then he's like, what was the next one?
Or then she says like, and we don't go on holidays nearly enough or whatever. And he's like, we went to Greece. And she's like, we met in Greece. That's completely different. And it is.
Yeah. There's also another bit I like there when he says, get fucked, Four Eyes. She's like, why don't you go out there? You love her so much.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
What are you saying? What do you? Yeah.
That if I have to remember back watching this like one of the first times, that get fucked Four Eyes is one of the 3 scenes in the movie that put myself in tears. It fucking
like
it has to be like. Yeah, exactly. Laughter. Yeah. No, I'm sad. He said no word. No, I mean, fucking like being a kid and seeing that get fucked Four Eyes in a movie. Oh, it was hysterical. Yeah. And it still is funny today, but not nearly as much as being like a fucking teenage kid. So yeah, we got there's another bit in the apartment there where he passes her the flowers that he actually bought for his mum because his stepfather told him to, and he gives them to her, and she reads the thing. It says, to the best mum ever. and she's like, he says some like garbage about, because, you mentioned that joke that I thought it'd be fun. You know what I mean? And then she's like, they're for your mum, aren't they? He's like, yeah. She's like, nice, smooth, like very smooth. Like so clearly showing that he's a fuck up as a partner.
Yeah, that's all. It's good.
So what do we have next? What do we have?
So I don't know if we need to mention it, but there is a bit where they're at the pub and then it goes back to they're at home again. So the pub bit's not really important. So we'll just go.
Wait. Just quickly, I like that little things again where they go to when they're on the way to the pub, there's like a drunk lady and they're making out with this dude.
Oh, yes.
As they walk in.
Oh, yes.
And then as they walk out of the pub and it's drunk and shit, they're still making out. Well, they assume they're still making out, but you see as they turn away that it's clearly that it's fucking bloody. The neck falls back and everything. So it's like little things that they're just not seeing because they've got bloody beer goggles on.
And also they're like, when they're leaving the pub, they're like singing, right?
Yeah.
And then, and then there's that zombie down the street moaning.
And they think that he's moaning to the song.
And they start singing with the zombie.
And then they go, oh, he's meant to say whatever the words were, but he didn't because he just moaned because they don't realize he's a fucking zombie. They did so well for such a, drawn out movie film taking because I read that they... something about it took them quite a long time to finish production of the movie.
Oh, okay.
So that the director of the movie almost went broke. Only because he refused to take other jobs just to finish this movie and organize another production company. You're like, far out, man. The things that they do just for the love of the art, like I think it shows in the movie.
I read somewhere that for Hot Fuzz, because they did because Shaun of the Dead did quite well, but they gave Shaun and I don't know whoever else writes the script like a lot they gave them a lot of room to do whatever they wanted.
Yes,
because they knew the first Shaun of the Dead was good, so they assumed that
it literally became an instant cult hit. So they decided, you know what, let's hope that they can make another one.
Yeah, let them do whatever magic they got to do and just make it happen. Yeah. And so this is funny.
I think we might be saying the same thing. No, you go.
I was going to say when they get home and there's a girl in the backyard.
Oh no! Wait.
You got a bit before.
1 second. Just it's a small little thing. It's a very small.
No, that's all right.
They're drunk. They're drunk. They're playing the electro upstairs. It's fucking late.
Oh,
and you know the other housemate comes in. It's 4 in the fucking morning. You know that part.
And he throws the record out the window.
Yeah, throws the record out, and as he's walking away, he walks out the way, and Ed goes, "Next time I see him, he's dead." All right, he says a little quote, and I'm like, I thought that's hilarious because the next time they do see him, he's fucking dead.
That's good. That's clever.
So yeah, they wake up in the morning, and the girl in the backyard.
And also with that scene you mentioned, you get to see that the roommate is not really impressed with Ed and all that. So shows,
not at all.
Shows all that.
It shows very clearly.
So there's a couple of things that go on because to start with, who is it? Ed and Shaun. Shaun's flicking through the telly again.
Yep.
And the TV's doing that thing again. That's like explaining stuff.
As he's changing channels.
And then Ed's like, there's a girl in the garden.
Yeah, he's hidden behind the curtain and he startled Shaun.
And then so what happens? They go out there and she ends up getting like skewered. They shove her and pushes her.
Yeah, I like how they think that she's like some drunk girl and she's like, oi, ease up, love. And then they push her and she trips back.
Don't come near me, I'm going to have to go physical. Just shoves her and then she falls over onto the thing and gets sparked straight through her. The special effects there, I thought the effects were pretty good for what it was. Like,
I couldn't agree more. They for not being a bloody Avatar movie.
No, if you don't look too closely, it looks fine. It's pretty good.
I'm certain if we went like screen by screen, you'd pick up on things.
Remember,
but like for the viewing of the movie was fucking clean.
Yeah, and remember, it's a 2006 movie, so that's a few years ago now.
It's crazy.
It still holds up pretty well, though.
Mm-hmm.
So,
for sure.
What else happens here? So, that's right. So they're going back inside, and Shaun's like, "Are they still out there?" And then Ed just like casually walks over to the window, pulls the curtain back, closes the curtain, turns around, he's like, "Yep."
Yep.
Just so casually.
Just casually. Yeah.
So this is a bit sorry.
Oh yeah, no, you go. Yeah.
So on the TV, it's saying in the background, it's like, make sure all your doors and windows are shut. And then Shaun's like, oh fuck, the door's open.
Again. Yep.
Again. And then it comes in, and then also they hit the zombie in the head with an ashtray or something. And then the TV straight away, the TV's like, you can neutralize it by removing the head or destroying the brain. So it's like that.
And I'll repeat that again.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that is, it's so cool that they've made it so that the TV is like,
it's like a couple steps behind them more. It's like
but it's also like, it's kind of, exactly. It's like, it's almost like a sign from the universe to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I thought that
I've got a little tidbit about, Nick Frost, who plays Ed. Apparently, allegedly, he kept his genitals clean shaven throughout the process to create a genuine need to scratch his groin that the character demanded. I think that's hysterical. If that is true, I get it. I think that's fucking great. Because he is like a, he's essentially a bloody Neanderthal. You know what I mean?
I can see him doing that though. I can see him doing weird things like that, and just to make the character suit the character or whatever. Yeah. So there's another. Yeah, sorry, you go this time.
Yep.
You go.
Well, I think this one is right at the. It's right there, just after it says to remove the brain or whatever. And there you can just tell the two different personalities that work so well together. You got Shaun bloody softly calling out, "Pete, hey Pete, are you there?" And then Ed bloody yells out, "Oi, prick!" And it's like you can just see nope. Yeah, they both agree that nope, he's not there. But I love the difference. Like you got Pete, fucking Shaun trying to calm things, smooth things over, and then you got bloody Ed who doesn't give a fuck. He's like, fuck this annoying twat.
Just before that, they're like, it's like, why don't you just go up there? And then Shaun's like, because A, he might be one of them, and B, he might still be annoyed.
Yeah. That's good.
And then this isn't too important, but the phone rings, and it's his mum.
Yep.
It's his mum on the phone.
Yes. Yep.
And Shaun's like,
go.
Have you been bit, mum? Mum, have you been bit? And she's like, no, Philip has. And then he's like, oh, it's okay then.
And then they both sigh of relief. Yeah. Oh, it's okay. It doesn't matter.
And then also then Ed was like, because Ed didn't really hear it. Ed was like, did Barb get bit? And he's like, no, it was Philip. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he also sighed as well. He also, at the end of that phone call, Shaun's like, oh yeah, we're coming to get you. And Barbara's like, oh, I don't want to make a fuss or whatever. And Ed's like screams at the phone, we're coming to get you, Barbara. Like he's so like, he loves it. He loves his mum. And then later in the movie as well, they when they finally meet, I'm just skipping ahead just for a second.
That's so cool.
Where they finally meet, like they catch up with Barbara, she actually says to Ed, oh my, Ed, you've grown. And Ed replies, you better believe it, and like winks at her because it's like hinting at he's got a thing for her. Like, I swear to God, throughout the movie you can kind of pick up that he's like got a thing for Shaun's mum.
Yeah, it's quite funny. Yeah. So before that, they're like they're trying to work out like a plan and stuff, and they keep going over like where do we go? And then they finally work out. It's like, right, where's safe? Where's familiar? And where can I smoke?
Yeah, it comes down to those three things for it.
The Winchester.
Yeah, yep.
And that's a theme of the movie. That's not even plan yet, because later on, once they realise, they do it again, don't they? Or is that's that bit, isn't it? Yeah.
That is that bit. I was going to say they go over all of it. They say it about 4 different times in different orders with different outcomes. Like the one where they're like,
they show them.
And I like it when they finally rest on the go to Mum's, kill Phil, get Liz, head over to the Winchester, and then he's like, how's that for a slice of gold pie? And he's like, they're so certain that's like, head to the pub. Why fucking head to the pub? Because of a lock-in. We've had a lock-in before. Like, that's so fucking retarded.
Where would you go, though? Where would you go in this situation? Because you do want somewhere safe.
I would contact people like my mates, my people nearby, my family, and I would try and organise like a militia.
Yeah.
No, and by militia, I kind of mean like barricade ourselves in, protect ourselves. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna find a double brick home, something sturdy.
Yeah, I think you would. I think to start with, you need to find somewhere to start with, and then after time, you could plan something better.
Oh yeah. There's immediate action, and then there's like survival action.
Yeah. Because like, how long is this going to last for? Is it out of control? All these sort of things. Yeah, I think we'd be alright, you and me, in a zombie apocalypse. I think we got this.
No, I think in theory.
yeah, but in practice, I mean, I'm slow.
In practice, I feel like I'm pretty slow.
I'm fucking slow too.
And if I think I'm slow, you're slow.
Yeah, we're fucked.
But like for you, there's not much meat on you. You'll be right. Yeah, shit, but zombies want brains.
Yeah,
you're fucked.
Don't stay away from me. I might attract too many.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least your house is kind of on stilts. Your little area. You should be able to fucking at least separate just a little bit.
Yeah. It's never going to happen, so...
No, it might not.
I don't know. I don't think coming back from the dead won't happen, but... Because there are some...
No, I could see like a bloody like rabies type virus, that convinces people of certain fears. So like I could see it being more...
28 days later and 28 weeks later, those zombies they're not the living dead. They're like got this infection that makes them angry and like aggressive.
Yeah, I think people confuse like, I think you're right with that because people confuse like, I don't think zombies just means the undead.
No.
To me, zombies is like angry, cannibalistic, rabid kind of thing. They don't have any thought. They're just, I just need to feed.
Yeah, like pure instincts.
Yeah. So I don't see it as like, oh, they're sticking their arms out like the Thriller movie out of the fucking out of their graves. Yeah, I don't. So I think, but some people definitely see them as only that.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
This is funny. So they get to Mum's place, right?
Wait. I don't want to cut you off.
No,
on the way to Mum's place.
Yeah.
On the way to Mum's place, Nick's sorry, not Nick. Goddamn, I did what you did. Bloody Ed is driving the car, and they hit a zombie, but they don't know it's a zombie yet. They hit this guy, and they're like, "Oh shit, we hit someone! Back up!" So they back up, and they're looking, they're waiting for like any kind of like for the thing to move.
It's
and
like,
it
why
moves
don't you just
over,
go?
and they're like, "You should. Why don't you just go?" But it rolls over and it like grunts and it has the eyes, the zombie eyes. And then they like go, oh, thank God. Like, oh, it's okay. It's only a zombie. Like, I find that hysterical.
So, now this is when they get to Mum's, right?
Yep.
So they get to the Mum's and Shaun's like, great, let's go. It's like, no, I'm going to stay in the car. I'll let you know if anything bad happens. After the car. Yeah.
With the 3 horns.
Yeah, I'll beat the horn if anything happens. So they go inside. Is there anything you want to say about inside, or we'll do that after?
No, not really. Like, you got he thinks he's going to have to kill Phil, but Phil ends up being like, what have you done, Shaun? He's all right, But I like when he's walking outside, he's so disappointed that he couldn't kill Phil. He's dragging the cricket bat and like falls down the stairs. I think that's hilarious. Like, he's so disappointed.
Yeah. So they get outside and Ed's standing there and Shaun's like, where's the car? And then he's fucking crashed it. Get to the Stovey pole.
He steps out of the way and you see it. Yeah, it's stumped into a Stovey pole.
Because of course he saw Philip's Jaguar in the driveway. So he
and he's like, oh no. I guess we'll have to take the Jag.
Yeah, crashed it on purpose so he can drive the fucking Jaguar.
Selfish. He is selfish, even in a zombie apocalypse.
It's so Ed.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's quite funny.
So we got now, they're now on the way, they go to Liz's house, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, and so now again, Ed drives around and just Shaun goes in to find Liz and he rings the doorbell. They don't answer, so now he actually has to climb up the bloody fire escape or the drain pipe or whatever.
He couldn't do it the first time. He just bloody well didn't try hard enough.
I mean, you've got to have incentive and a specific amount of incentive.
Getting his girlfriend back wasn't enough.
Yeah, he obviously didn't care that much, but when it came to shove, his bloody zombies biting his bum, he could climb it.
That's kind of true, because it is like, they do say that in situations like emergency things, people get a lot of adrenaline and can do things that they don't normally can do, like lift a car off someone.
They're capable of things that exactly. That's that's the common example that people use. Like,
maybe not one person, but a group of people.
Isn't that what they say about like the reason why chimps are so strong is because they don't have the smart brain holding them back and stopping them from hurting themselves. So like we are capable. I mean, maybe like if you could compare them physically, but our brain knows not to push ourselves past a certain limit because you may not recover from that. But in a time of need, your brain just goes, get this car off this child. You know what I mean? Or whatever whatever it is.
So we're already capable. It's let me the brain is.
We were. Yeah. And also it could be like, you know, because most people's brains are filled with self-doubt, obviously, because it's kind of necessary. Like, don't jump over that cliff. Don't, you know, you won't make it that far or whatever. It helps you to survive a little bit longer, but maybe it does hurt you in the long distance because you're like, I can definitely climb this drain pipe. And if he wanted to prove his love to his partner earlier in the movie, maybe he just needed to incentivize himself in his mind, not just pretend there are zombies always under his ass, but with everything in life.
So, where was it? Oh, here we are.
We're on he's now.
So once he climbs the building, I realized like this isn't the first time I've seen that. So there's a part where Diane says to, what's the other guy's boyfriend's name? David? I call him Daffs though or something.
Daffs. Yeah.
His real name's David. But
I can't remember the normal name. It's just Daffs.
David's his real name.
David. Yeah, you're right. It's David.
See, I thought that he was David and I thought that she was Daffs.
Oh.
So I was totally confused because I thought it was short for Daphne or something, you know?
I don't understand how it's short for David.
Anyway,
I do agree with that.
Diane is his girlfriend.
Diane,
and she says to him, she says, I don't want to be torn to pieces, and I'm sure you don't either, right? But that actually happens at the end. They get torn to pieces.
That's like a little callback. Yep.
It's like
That's cool.
They're telling you what's going to happen, mate. But you only know that after you've seen it, you know?
Exactly. It's especially like I so wish we could like erase a movie from our memory just so we can rewatch it. Like how fun would that be? Like
there are
so many movies. And what about the movies that you would like? Let's say that was possible, the erasing the memory of a specific movie and all of the references or whatever. Imagine what kind of loops you would get stuck in, like after finishing, I don't know, fucking Avatar. Do you reckon you just keep watching that same movie for the rest of your life and forget it and keep watching? Like, I wonder if you do forget it, maybe it even erases the interest in wanting to watch it. That would be pretty bad. That would not be a good thing.
Yeah, wow. I don't know. I think it'd be cool to be able to just go, I want to watch this movie, but I don't want to remember watching it before. And then after, you can turn it back off. And then remember all the times you watched it.
Yeah, it's like a temporary thing.
Yeah, just like a temporary while I'm watching it this time. That would be awesome. I mean, that's not physically possible, but...
Unfortunately, not yet anyway.
There are so many movies that I want to watch more. I don't want to watch like a second season. I want to watch the first season again, but without knowing it because it's so good. I can't. It's it sort of upsets me.
It's a shame.
It's like, in a way, it's like, I wish I hadn't watched it now. Because I want to watch it again.
just so you could watch it now in the right time.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Especially when I could imagine with you as well, like, you know, getting a new telly, getting your new speakers, like all this, you kind of like, oh, why did I waste watching it on a fucking, you know, it's like the equivalent of saying 720p. It's like, fuck that shit. I'm not watching it like that. That's not happening.
Yeah. And that used to be like awesome. That'd be like, 720p, that's good.
Because before that, it was fucking an AVI and it'd be bloody burnt over 2 DVDs or some bullshit. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Or CDs, probably didn't have DVD burners back then.
Probably
had CD burners. Unless you were rich and then you had a DVD burner.
Yeah, bloody DVD burner, Jesus.
Do you remember, I don't know if you ever had that, but I remember it was actually, I think it was like primary school. Like I'd go over to a friend's place and they would have a DVD burner and they would burn games for me and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't have a DVD burner, so it was like, oh my God. Yeah, let's copy all the games and
copy all the games. Spend half hour doing that. Yeah. Like especially when like you'd get I remember getting a not a burnt. What do you call it? A cracked PS2, so you could play the burnt games and it wouldn't. There would be no issues. And then we just bloody copied catalogs upon catalogs because my uncle was fully into that shit.
Yeah,
it was so fucking, it was
sick.
Or PS1, I can't remember what it was, but you know what I mean. One of those consoles.
Yeah. All right, so back to the movie.
Back into it.
So they all get in the car, and the child locks and shit. Because this child locks, why not? So yeah, then they're on the road, and Ed's got the music going fucking loud and
fucking blaring again. Yeah, bloody Ed.
And then at some point, Philip turns, right? So Philip turns into the zombie, and they all
because he was bitten prior.
Yeah, and then they all like. Ed gets out, and the child locks her on, so no one else can get out.
No one in the back seat can get out.
And
then you get Liz runs around from the other side, like Ed, what the fuck? Yeah, Ed.
Child locks, let them out, you asshole.
But I also can sympathize with him because in a moment of panic, you don't know what you'll do. You have no idea. Like you can say like, oh yeah, of course I would do this. Of course you would run and help save the person, but you don't have any idea what will happen. You might run away and just scream mum. You have no idea.
So yeah, they all get out. Yeah. They've locked Phil in the car, and the music's still going really loud. And Shaun is like, says to his mum, he's like,
it's not even your husband left in there.
There's nothing of the man you know in that car. And then next minute he stops the radio.
Yeah, so there's a little bit.
It's so funny.
It's so good.
And this is then where they're walking down the alleyway, and they can see all I called them clones.
Yep. But they're actually reunions of past actors that have worked together in series and stuff.
I read that, yeah.
But they are clones. Funny. You're absolutely right. The way they dress is Shaun, the mum, then and then the last one's Ed, and it's the bloody guy out of Little Britain. And they just like nod and go, and they grunt at each other like
on their phones, texting and stuff. That's good.
All right, so yep.
There's a scene there where I don't know. I think Barb gets attacked by a zombie or whatever, and Shaun jumps on the trampoline and jumps over the fence. When I saw that immediately reminded me of Hot Fuzz. They do the exact same thing, jumping over fences.
But the funny thing is that the trampoline as well. But the funny thing is when in this Shaun of the Dead, Shaun is a delinquent. All right, so he's not a good. So I don't know. He's not doing well with his life.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a delinquent, but and he jumps the fence, but the fence breaks under him, and they laugh at him. But then that kind of happens to Ed, which is not Ed, but in bloody Hot Fuzz. And I like how they kind of swapped it around as well. Like, and now it's your turn to fail. I think that's a little cool thing as well.
Yeah, so we can now go.
You got Diane finally teaching them how to play a zombie. Look at his face. He's vacant, but he's a little bit of hunger or whatever. And I like how she's like, all right, you do yours, and Shaun does a pretty good one. And then she goes to Barbara, and Barbara's like, she's like looking away. She's like thinking about the fact that she got bitten and not telling everyone else. But she's like vacant and looking away, and she's like, wow. Perfect, Barbara. Well done. And she's like, sorry, love, I was miles away. That was so goddamn funny.
And then also when they're walking across the street as zombies, Barb's just like, like not even a zombie sound. Like not even. It's so funny.
She's like nervous and
it's funny.
I like just there, right? I mean, I don't know. I can't. I think it's either outside the Winchester or it might be a little bit after when they're inside, but either way, it doesn't really ruin much.
No.
Ed points out the fact that there's zombified Pete, their old housemate. And he's like, hey, Shaun, look who it is, and points to him. And Shaun's like, oh, fuck a doodle do. Like, who gives a fuck who it is? There's zombies here, cunt. Why are you pointing out this shit? I think that's hysterical. Like, he's just such a child, you know what I
mean? It's also funny, though, because earlier when Pete was in the shower, zombified or whatever, Shaun was saying a whole heap of stuff, and he was like, oh, we're going to the pub, so if you want to come to the Winchester, And then
he ends up at the bloody Winchester. That's cool as well. I like
that. So now they're inside the Winchester, aren't they?
I was just going to do a quick little, Shaun had the argument with Ed, telling him to sort his fucking life out, quit holding me down, and he's screaming at him, and there's Liz like tapping him on the shoulder like, Shaun, and he turns around and now every zombie is looking at them and waiting for them to do the next move. And that's where what's his name, bloody Daphs, throws the bin through the window. Shaun takes him away, like, screaming and getting him to focus on him. They get inside and they're waiting for him.
Yeah. So that once he gets back to them, that's when they do the bit about so Shaun's like, I don't know, someone's telling Ed and Shaun off. He's like, oh, you guys are like boyfriends or whatever. And Shaun's like, no, he's not my boyfriend. Then Ed passes him the beer, and he's like, oh, it might be a bit warm, the cooler's off. And then Shaun's like, oh, thanks, babe.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. I love their dynamic. It's so good.
Yeah. There's a movie that they're both in, an older one, and that's a thing that keeps coming up, because whenever he gets past the beer, he says, thanks, babe. So it's actually a
What's
reference.
the old movie? Do you know what it's
Spaced or something?
Oh, Space, yes, yep.
Yeah, and apparently that happens in there a lot, I read after.
Well, I know that like a lot of the background characters are fans of Space. They reached out to like getting a lot of people in. I think that's awesome to do in movies.
Yeah, so
and shows and whatever.
Oh yeah. So I wrote this bit down. It's another bit that shows how selfish Ed is. So there's a whole heap of stuff going on and circuit breakers and stuff. And so I think Shaun and Liz are talking or something. And Ed comes up and says, Ed comes up and he's like, can I have a quarter? Which is like, gives him a quarter. And then he goes over to the fucking pokey machine and uses the pokey machine. And then it's gone ding, 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 ding. And like,
wait, was it a pokey machine or a pinball machine?
One or the other. And
one or the other, but it just makes a shitload of sounds.
Shitload of noise.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, Ed, what are you doing? Don't even annoy me.
No, I know, right? He's just a bin. And I mean, also, you would kind of pick up like, why would I be giving Ed a quarter? Why does he need money? Why does he need some cash?
She's obviously distracted too. So she's like, it's like a child. Just like, whatever, just take that and shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly like a child. Actually, exactly like a child.
Just a reflex, like a parent. Like, I'm talking here, just, take that, go away. It's like when a kid comes up, it's like, Mum, can I have your phone to play games or whatever? It's like, oh yeah, just whatever.
Yeah, just take it. Just get out of my face.
Yeah. So this comes close to like one of my favorite scenes, right? So the jukebox light just turns on, and they're like, "Oh, who the fuck turned that on?" And it's like, it's on random.
It's on random. Yep.
And then of course it's the Queen song, Killer Queen, and they do the fight like
it's Don't Stop Me Now. That's the song, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
No. It's not Killer Queen, but that's what he says. He's
and then that's when they start fighting in time to the music, and I thought that was so good. That's one of my favorites.
It's just a little fun thing in the movie. That wouldn't happen, but it's just fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I could also see that if I didn't like this movie, that would be another reason why I didn't like this movie. You know what I mean? Like, depending on your perspective.
Yeah.
I think it's fun, but also to someone who's like, no, this is a shit. Like,
I mean, this is not.
Then they start whacking to the music.
This is not a serious movie. Like, this is a funny.
Oh, God, no, yeah.
Like, if you're watching this for a serious, it's not.
No,
it's
absolutely
a takeoff.
not.
It's like making fun of zombies. It's like the whole,
It's kind of making fun of the way that
they
all kind of seem to end out. And I like that in the end you kind of find out, the people that they passed, the other team, the clones, they're having the real movie that would normally happen.
Yes. Oh, you're right.
But we're seeing the life, we're seeing the ones that should probably die off in the bloody zombie apocalypse. We're following them. But if the movie was following the other people, you see them, get in contact with the military, blah 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 blah.
Doing all proper.
I like that. I like that it's shining the light on this side of it too, which is good.
So earlier at the start of the movie, like very early on, they mentioned the shotgun above the bar.
Yeah,
and Shaun's like, oh, that doesn't work. That's not real. So this is quite funny because they're obviously fighting the zombies. So Ed throws the shotgun to Shaun. So Shaun starts using it as a fucking baseball bat and starts hitting him with the gun, with the rifle.
Yeah.
It's actually not a shotgun, convinced. It's a rifle, but anyway. They call it a shotgun, but technically it's not. Then he's using it as like a club to bash the zombies, and afterwards, it's like, why didn't you just shoot him? And she was like, for the last time, I told you, it doesn't work, and then bang, he shoots it and it goes off.
and then he's like, fine, but dogs can look up.
Then there's another bit where they're all helping Shaun shoot the gun. So they're throwing him, like, giving him ammo and loading the gun for him. And they're like, they're telling him where to shoot. So they're like, 11:45, 11:45. And I'm like, where the fuck is that?
Simplify.
It's like, but seriously, what fucking direction is 11:45?
I can understand
you can do
12 o'clock,
1, 2,
3 o'clock. I get that. But going, it's 12:47. Just say, just say 12 o'clock.
And I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but they say 11:45. And they say 11:45. That's the same time.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I never picked up on that. That's great. I like that.
I'm like, hang on. I was looking at it. I'm like, hang on. Isn't that the same?
That's funny as. I like that.
It's so good, those bits there.
I like a part. I'm not sure how far it's coming up in this scene, but where Diane grabs like darts and she throws the darts and misses a couple times and then she throws one last and it hits bloody Shaun smack bang in the side of the head and then he's stuck with that while fighting off the zombie.
Yeah,
and then a second later
I've got that written here. So Diane throws the dart and Shaun's like, no, don't throw the darts. And then she throws another one and hits the zombie. And Shaun's like, oh yeah, yes, keep doing that. And then he gets hit in the head. Yeah, like you say.
He encouraged it.
I thought that.
But then I like there's a bit just after that where he when he yanks that dart out of the side of it, you actually see a squirt of blood come out as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's quite a long dart. That would have really done damage if that was in that far. In real life.
If it went in that far, I was about to say, but I doubt it. Like, it'd have to hit the right spot. I think to get in that deep.
To go that deep, it would have to hit you in the temple where the soft bit is.
Or like inside your ear or the back of the neck, or you know what I mean? Like they had to be somewhere else.
Because the actual skull's it might put a dent in there, but it's not gonna.
I mean, maybe they threw it hard enough or whatever.
Depends how hard.
We're no doctors. We have no idea.
Yeah, but I don't think that a dart would be quite heavy enough to penetrate that far.
No, I don't think so.
A thick part of your skull. It would fucking hurt and you'd bleed and it wouldn't be good.
Oof, it'd hurt. Right.
There's a funny bit here. This is getting close to the end now. Have you got anything?
Yeah. No. I've only got a couple more notes at all.
Yeah, because I was going to say, so at some point they set the bar on fire, and they've left the shells or the bullets.
The bloody shells.
Yeah, on the bar, right? So
I like how just it's on the shells. I like how earlier where Shaun's like, oh, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. We've got 18 bullets, and then Ed's like, they're shells, and he's like he fucking knows what he's talking about. This dumb guy. But anyway, they've left
they had left their shells in the bar, and the bar's on fire. And I found it so funny that the bullets start going off, and they kill more zombies than when Shaun was aiming with the gun.
That's funny. Yes. That random bullets flying in any direction, they can kill more than Shaun can. That's hilarious.
On that though, there were a couple of in the trivia or the goof section. with that gun is technically a rifle. And if it was a shotgun, it would shoot pellets like a spray pattern. It wouldn't shoot individual bullets. It would be like, is it called buckshot? Yeah.
Yeah, buckshot. Yeah,
it'd be like that. It wouldn't be like a bullet. And a Winchester is technically a rifle.
And that would be and if it was a bullet, that would be so much better having the bloody the buckshot for zombies.
True, I think it would actually. I think
because you'd lacerate multiple.
Yeah, and if you shoot one in the head and you slightly miss, it might get some behind him.
But also, you've just got more chance of more chance of survival.
Yeah. So
we got the bullets are going off, and then Ed jumps back over because after he got bitten, he's now bloodied up and he's got like a rag on his neck. They have to go down underneath into the cellar, and they're hoping for a way out down there, obviously, but they feel like they get trapped. And what does he say to Ed? I love the joke that they have. Like Shaun passes the cigarette to him.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, and Ed's like Shaun's like, I'm sorry, Ed, I'm sorry. And Ed's like, no, it's all right. I'm sorry, Shaun. No. I'm sorry, Shaun. And Shaun's just like, but what? Oh, he did his joke again where he lets a ripper off. They do that earlier in the movie. I like that. That's great. It's a good little like goodbye because Ed's going to die. There's no other way out.
It's funny. I don't know in real life if many people would be able to have humor in that situation,
I
don't know.
I only think back because I remember being at obviously I'll bring up an example of like a very bad day that I remember when I was younger, like my nana's funeral, my nana passing. It's a horrific day, right? But like it's generally, I'll be honest, it's the ceremony that's the horrific part. Everyone knowing that this is the time to grieve.
Yeah.
But leading up to it and moments in the break and afterwards, I was still with my brothers, with like my cousins and stuff. And we were joking, we were laughing, we were still hanging out. You know what I mean? Like it kind of, even in the moment of grief, it still wasn't like, we were still trying to make each other laugh and feel good. And it's still like that moment where he's down there, he's like, you know what, one last thing I can do for my mate Shaun is let him smell my fart and laugh.
I feel like though that, like, they're not dead yet, so it's kind of, it would be quite hard to do that, I would think, for a normal person as you're dying.
No, yeah.
I mean, some people do.
It
just depends, but yeah, I think
it depends on the person and their type of humor. No, you're right.
So this is pretty much the end. So they
pretty much the end. Yeah.
They get up through the wine cellar, and the military comes with the clone Shaun.
Yeah, with the female version of Shaun.
Yeah. So that's
and they it's a pretty cool scene because they're like, all right, here we go. They lift out, they use the barrel hatch thing, whatever it's called.
The cellar door thing.
They're like freaking out, like they're huddled together like they're about to die, and then all of a sudden bright lights, trucks run over zombies, gunfire, army men kneeling down and like shooting down all this and then glad somebody made it is what she said to Shaun and Shaun and Liz, because you got to try and stay positive, because that's kind of where you see that she had the right idea. Get the fuck out of the bad area and find help.
Yeah.
Obviously they were like, you know what, let's head to the pub.
I mean, in real life, if this happened, I don't know, I think the military might die pretty quick. Like, imagine if one of the military gets infected, then it'd
be pretty quick.
They wouldn't be ready for it.
But do you not think that in like a military base that they would that they wouldn't have too much issues with being able to quickly shoot them? They've got access to the.
Depends if they know there's zombies happening before it gets into.
Yeah, they might just treat it as a flu. You know what I mean?
Because they might not even notice, and then half their bloody soldiers are infected, and then turn, and it depends where the infection starts and. If it's in the military or it's, It just, so many factors, just like real life.
All right. So do you want to give up your wrap-up thoughts? Or
is there anything you want to say? Because they do the 6 months later and then they're at home
Oh,
again.
yeah. Sorry, the last note I've got is, ha ha ha, they kept Ed. I like that.
Yeah, Ed's in the bloody shed playing video games.
Yeah, they're playing bloody Halo or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think that's great. But now obviously Liz has, redecorated the apartment and he's like, oh, I might pop out to the shed.
I don't think Liz knows that Ed's there, does she?
Not sure.
Maybe. I don't think she knows. I think it's like a secret.
Yeah, because he does say, I'll pop over to the shed. Yeah, you maybe. And she's never going to go in the shed. Yeah, okay, maybe that is what's happened.
That's what I reckon. That's open to interpretation, obviously.
Exactly. All right, in closing, what are your finishing notes? From where would you rate it?
I got a couple of things on the camera work and stuff. I found it. I think it was probably on purpose, but it's quite grainy, like the especially in dark scenes. It's a lot of like film grain, and I don't know if they do that a lot in The Walking Dead. They do that as well. So I think it's just trying to add like grit to the movie and make it more zombie like. I think it's just on purpose, but also with the action, I found the camera a little bit shaky and like I don't know, it was a bit like swooshy. Like, I don't know how to. It's a bit like
I definitely have a note of like their cut scenes and what it does feel very disorientating sometimes.
Yeah,
I definitely get that because like slamming down the coffee mug and then jumping like there's a lot like just for those cut scenes and especially in Hot Fuzz, which we'll talk about. But yeah,
and a bit of like shaking the cap, like it wasn't shaky, but it was like too floaty. Like it was, I don't know. It's a bit tricky to explain that one, but it was. Yeah, it was a bit like, it's hurting my eyes a bit. But that wasn't too often, and it's 2006, like, it's an old movie.
Yeah, and then plus we've probably got like upscaled versions as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that as well, so that could have something to do with it. Because I had the remastered version, so yeah.
Oh, exactly, maybe.
Maybe there was something in there, or, the acting was great for what it was, like, I don't think you'd want any different kind of acting. It was perfect.
No, you're right. I think as well, and it seemed very natural there because obviously I read a bit of the trivia, so some weird facts about it. But they were flatmates at one point in time, so they're trying to recreate their like dynamic together. Yeah, I think that's quite cool.
The soundtrack, it was typical. It had good. All the music in it was adding to the atmosphere. It was to.
I was just about to say that's something that we love, bloody having the music that's a part of the movie. It's not just like they've decided to play that in the background, but the characters can't hear it.
Yeah. And then when there's like something scary happening, you got the scary sounds and when action happens, you got the more adrenaline
music.
The more adrenaline type music and all that.
Yep, got Queen playing. Yep, I know.
I thought I haven't done this before, but I thought the plot, the story, that was really well done. It was like good. It was well thought out. There's a lot of effort.
I was just about to say super thought out. Like I feel like most of they must have done so much work before even starting the production of the movie to make sure it's like airtight. It feels like it was done that way anyway.
And you can tell they put a lot of effort in. And it paid off.
Yeah, paid off.
And the pacing, the pacing I thought was fine too, so it wasn't too slow.
It didn't feel slow. There wasn't like moments where it was like even like the beginning scenes, like it pretty well, it gave you a quick introduction of who he was. Yeah. Then it leads into like his relationship with his mum, dad, breaks up with Liz, zombies, like it kind of, it didn't feel like it was slow. And I agree with you there.
Yeah, so, the budget was $6 million. It's pretty for 2000. Sorry, this actually came out in 2004. So $6 million in 2004. That's probably a decent sized budget.
That's a fair budget.
And they made $30 million, which is good for that time.
I think they did But I did read some stuff up. Maybe the listeners might want to have a look into it. But yeah, there was some things with the production company backing out, which then led to them having to wait to release it, and they had to the direct. Yeah, as I said earlier, have a look into it. There's some shit going on behind the scenes.
So technically, it's even older than 2004. if all that stuff was going on. Yeah. Because that's just the release date.
Well, I mean, even movies,
I
was about to say, sometimes they take bloody 4 to 5 years just to film the bloody thing.
Yeah, which seems a bit ridiculous, but that is what happens. Yeah,
that is. Yeah,
especially for like a 2.5 hour movie.
I mean, I could understand as well with like animation it takes quite a long time, like CGI, sorry, I shouldn't say animation, CGI. That makes it feel like cartoon, but CGI can take a long time. So I can understand it, but you throw enough people at it, generally things get done.
You think so, yeah. It depends on the people, though.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Do I do my
rating?
Yeah, all right. So
you.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think that's, in terms of comedies, though, it's probably higher. But I'm just doing what I thought about the movie, not...
No, that's fair.
Not rated between other comedies, but yeah.
Well, see, I mean, like, because when I rate a movie, I rate that movie only. I'm not rating this compared to rating the other. So for my rating, I've gone straight out 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
There's a few things, like I do feel like the shakiness, I did pick up on that, some of those things, but I think that's just stereotypical for a zombie apocalypse type movie.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just doing that intentionally. I don't know. But why it's such a classic to me is just all those little callbacks, the puns, the Easter eggs that are just for the audience who are fans. It's not for the first time viewers. It's the people who are rewatching it. I think that's what made it such a, I don't know, so fucking iconic to, I mean, well, me especially, I don't know about the audience here, but it's so fucking, I don't know, so well done to me. And I think obviously I'm such a fan, so everything's going to be a positive from me. So to others, I know it's going to be different.
All right, so
let's get on to Hot Fuzz, I think.
Yeah. So just as a quick...
Now, this was released 3 years... Oh, okay, yeah.
I was just going to say, just before we go, that 7 out of 10 for me, and what was it, 9 out of 10 for you?
Yeah. Oh, do you want to wrap up? Yeah.
All right, continue.
All righty, now on to Hot Fuzz, the next in the trilogy. But we're only doing the first 2. We got this 2007 compared to Shaun of the Dead's 2004. So 3 years after. That's pretty cool. Obviously not rushing into making another movie, which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll do a quick little brief description of the movie.
Yeah.
A skilled London police officer is transferred to a small town with a dark secret, which is quite nice to hear. It's quite intriguing as well.
Yeah. So I wrote down like the actors. So you've got 𝗵𝗂𝘇, played by Simon Pegg. Yep. And you've got Danny, I don't know what his last name is, played by
me neither.
Nick Frost. So they're the main 2. The others are just not really that important. But I actually wrote down, so I didn't write 𝗵𝗂𝘇. I wrote 𝗵𝗂𝘇.
You wrote Nicholas. Yeah, I was about to say, did you write Angle or something?
Angle, yeah. 𝗵𝗂𝘇. It's quite funny. And then throughout my notes, I've written that too.
You use that as his name?
Yeah.
All right. So I haven't really got an introduction here, so I think you might start off with this one.
So I really like the intro where they go straight into like Nicholas's achievements. And like all the showing how good he is and all these things he's done. He's like a superhero and all this shit.
Yeah.
And then that's really I really liked how they did that. And then
they gave you an intro, and then that's
Yeah, and then so that goes straight into was he called into the boss's office?
Yeah, he was called in there, and that's where they're eventually trying to kick him out, essentially, because he's too bloody good.
Yeah, they're so jealous of how good he is, making them look bad because he's so good. They want him gone. So yeah, you can see that. And
I like how they're like, oh, you want to take this higher? Okay, all right, I'll call the boss, the sergeant, and then they call the sergeant. Sergeant comes out and says, oh, and another level up. Oh, okay. So the bloody, the captain or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
and he comes down and he's like, sir, you can't just make people disappear. So, well, yes, I can. That's what I do. Like, oh, geez, that's quite dark for a bloody cop to say, isn't it?
Yeah. And obviously, for the people watching, they wanna make him sergeant of a town in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, just get rid of him. So he's making everyone else look bad in the precinct that aren't doing as well as he is.
Yeah. And then
what a bad way to run a business.
Oh, I know, right? Wouldn't you want to keep put down?
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't you want to go, hey guys, look what he's doing. He's a fucking champ. Why can't you guys do that?
Yeah, so I thought it was quite funny how it's like Nicholas and he's got this peace lily. That's all he's got. That's all his possessions. It's himself and his plant.
Fucking plant.
And there's it's
the only thing he can care about.
So so he's in the car going towards the new town or whatever. And I don't know if you noticed, but there's a road sign that pops up and it says Model Village pointing down that way. And as soon as I saw that, I got, oh, that reminds me of the scene later on where they go to
the model village, the ending scene as well. Yeah.
So they actually tell you straight away that that's where it's going to end.
So it kind of starts and ends there in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like with more just the story, not his overall story, but the story of the village, that whole village,
and
not
I
the
feel
model
like
village.
The first time for someone watching, they wouldn't pick up on that sign.
They wouldn't. No, you wouldn't pick up on that at all,
just
would
go,
you?
Oh, whatever, and just overlook it. But
Some
it's actually,
weird model village. Why the fuck do they have that?
Yeah, but it's actually quite important, which is, So now they're in the town. He goes to the hotel. Do you have any notes at the hotel there?
Well, I mean, no, not really. Just where he rocks up at the and he says they're like old hag and he's helping her with the crossword or whatever.
Yeah, so that bit. So they walk. He's in the counter and the lady's like, she just yells out. She's like, fascist. and Nick's like, what? Sorry, what? And she's like, 7 across. I'm doing a crossword puzzle. And then after he's done with her, he's like, hag, 12 down.
Yeah.
They're like insulting each other,
that's
but
funny.
not. I thought that was really funny. It just, that really made me
She
laugh.
does that a lot in the movie where she like says something and then quickly means the other thing, like later on where she's like, oh, I love your autograph for the breakfast. Like, quickly cuts it down.
He thought it was because he was on the news.
Yeah, because he was in the paper.
Yeah, because the guy spelled his fucking name wrong.
Yeah, it's Angle.
Such an
Nicholas Angle. All right.
Yeah. And then so what have you got next? What happens?
So yeah, he's at the hotel. What happens next? He then he heads out for a night on just like to see the town.
Yeah, night on the cranberry juice.
And yeah, on the cranberry juice, bloody weak piss there. Not that I drink much, but fucking cranberry juice, that'd be a strange thing to order at a pub.
I know, right?
I like how he kicks everyone out, doesn't he? He's like, how old are you? 25? And like, voices breaking and everything.
Yeah, half the bloody bar's underage, actually all of it. Yeah, like
so he kicks him out.
Yeah, the whole bar, and then the whole bar is empty. It's like just...
And I like when they ask him, they're like, because now they're angry because there's no patrons in their bar. So they're like, anything for you? He's like, no, I'm good, thanks. Like, yeah, sure you are. Like they weren't asking in a happy way at all. But actually, he's like, yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah, and so just before he kicks them all out, though, he talks to the owners, and he's like, listen, we've got a problem here. You've got a lot of underage drinkers. And then the guy's like, well, if they're in here, they're not out there causing trouble. It's for the greater good.
The greater good.
The greater good, yes. And that's... Yeah,
fucking greater good.
And then he's like, nah, it's not good enough, and kicks them all out. Yeah, so that's quite funny.
And then we meet buddy Nick Frost as Danny.
Yeah, he was in the bar
he's exiting the pub, and he's like looking at the statue, the water fountain statue, and Danny backs up his car and almost hits him. So he arrests him and walks him down. But as he arrests him, he's like, all right, I'm taking you down to the station. Where is it? Because he doesn't know yet. Because he hasn't. Well, that's quite funny.
And so now it goes to his first day on the job, and he's jogging down the street. He's jogging down the street. Everyone knows his name. The whole town's
already.
Like, morning, Sarge, morning, Nick, morning, Sergeant Angel, morning.
Yep.
It's like, how do they know everything?
It's a small village.
Yeah. It's a small village, yeah.
But no, but you're right. It is sus because it's like they're all interconnected because of the cult that's running everything. Yeah.
And then he gets the tour of the police station. No, bit before that. Sorry, I skipped. There's a really funny bit here. So, Sergeant Angel he's gone into this precinct to check on the drunk guy in the cell. So he's like,
yeah, that's right. That's right.
So he goes in there. He's like, the guy's missing. Where's the drunk guy that was here? And then they're like, he says, can you get cell 4 open? And then you hear in the background, the other guy's like, Danny, can you open cell 4?
Yeah. That's funny. And then it's Danny.
He's standing there and he's looking in the cell, and then Danny pops his head up right next to 𝗙𝗂𝘇, and he's like, oh my God, who's gone?
The inebriate in cell 4. What are you doing?
Yeah, and then Shaun's
what are you doing dressed up like that?
It's like, why are you dressed like a police officer? Because I am one.
Yeah, that's right.
And of course, that's the guy he arrested to put in the drunk tank.
Yeah, yep.
And then they talk with the inspector, and the inspector also says again at that point, in the sentence, it's like, for the greater good.
It keeps popping up.
Yeah, it keeps popping up a lot. And then he gets the tour of the station, and he goes to, like, there's a whole room set aside for the neighborhood watch. I'm like, what the fuck? In what town would that happen? Having a neighborhood watch in the police
and exactly, and there'd be no way that it'd be run by a civilian. It'd be run by a police officer, and then the neighborhood watch would then have, like, they'd have meetings or something. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be controlled by them. No. They're having security. That'd be crazy.
And then you see, like, a whole bank of screens full of surveillance of the whole town in the neighborhood watch. Like, wave, yeah, so sus.
Very, very sus. This crossed with all the greater good speak. It's almost like there's a cult here.
Yeah. So what happens next?
Yeah. So where are we going? They had they ran into they were at the pub again.
Yeah.
And they ran into the terrible actor or actress or whatever, that bad actor.
Oh yeah, the Shakespeare.
Yeah, the Shakespeare guy. Now, how did that lead to them getting tickets? God damn it.
So
because didn't they leave and they pulled him over for speeding?
I'm just checking my notes. I had a whole section of that. Where did I put it? I think that's still a bit later on. I think we might have to come back to that, because
what's next?
So I think they go to the pub, like you say, but then they're working. So he's on the streets with Danny, and they're working together and stuff. And Danny is super interested about 𝗙𝗂𝘇, and he's like asking him questions. He's like, have you ever fired a gun from a car? And have you ever done this and that?
Yeah, have you fired a gun up in the air and gone R? No, I've not fired up the gun up in the air and gone R. But I feel like I'm missing out on. What are you missing out on? We do the same. You do what I do.
And I remember thinking at that time, like, okay, so all those things that he's just said, that he's just asked Angel, they're all going to happen, surely.
Yeah, they all do.
Yeah,
yes.
I know. And I'm thinking to myself at that point, I'm like, yep, that's all going to happen. Then,
and that's where doesn't he have to find the
there's a couple of things here.
He gets called up to look for the swan.
Oh yeah, like, somewhere in there. That's right. Yeah.
And the guy's like, what's, like, he's on the phone. He's like, what's your name? Mr. Peter Ian Staker. That's P.I. Staker. Yeah. Okay, piss taker. All right, come on. And he hangs up on him, and then it cuts to him interviewing the actual guy, Peter Ian Staker.
Yeah, the real one.
And he's like, when he's describing, he's like, oh, he's like describing the swan. He's like, it's a white. He's got a orange and black bill. Well, I mean, he's a swan, you know?
Like, what else? It's a fucking swan.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a bit. So just before that scene, very close, they have a welcome party for 𝗚𝗂𝘃𝘃, for Nicholas, and so there's a scene there that I thought was relevant to us. Like, religion comes up at some point. So he's like, "Are you an atheist then?" And then Shaun's like, "I'm open to the idea of religion, just not convinced." I like that scene. Thought that was
yeah.
It kind of relates to like us
and he says something like, "Oh, what? So agnostic?" And then another person's like, "Oh, I've got a cream for that." Make a little joke about it.
Yeah, that was so good.
But yeah, no, I agree. That is a nice undecided.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's good. And then,
right.
So you can hear throughout the movie the town on the walkie-talkies, and they're always talking about what's happening to each other. Like, oh, Nicholas just walked into the shop. Take a look at his ass and stuff.
Yeah,
and all this sort of stuff.
And then later on, they say something else, which is kind of a reference to that as well.
And so the whole town seems to know everything all the time throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And then
they're always one step ahead of Nicholas.
Yeah, there's also a bit there where Nicholas is like, "There's always something going on. You just have to look carefully." He says that around about that time.
Which is pretty spot on.
So this is when they end up chasing someone. They end up the shoplifter. So there's a shoplifter.
Yep.
And then they're running around and stuff. And at one point he goes around the corner while he's chasing him, and he's like, "You mothers."
Yeah, yep, yeah.
And then you think he's going to say something else, but then they cut to what he's looking at. And there's like 20 prams with the mums pushing the prams.
It's literally "you mothers."
And that's when they go, "Let's take a shortcut." Then they go and they jump over the fences. So
yeah, that's right.
But his superhero 𝗚𝗂𝘃𝘃 like fucking jumps like a ninja over all the fences. And then you get
then bloody Danny.
Then Danny comes along and just like tries to jump and just smash straight through the first.
Just smashes straight through.
Straight through the first one.
I have a feeling that's what I'd do. Yeah.
And I also noticed that on the last jump that Nicholas does, he uses a trampoline. I'm pretty sure. It looks like it. And I'm like, that is what happened to Shaun of the Dead. So it's like,
it definitely looks like it. Yeah.
They like to connect all that, and there was mention of it in the IMDb that is from other movies they reference it from. Not just Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead got it from somewhere too.
Yeah.
I don't know what movie it was, but there's a movie where that's like a thing. Yeah. And then this is where they're on traffic duty. So with the speed camera.
Yeah, that's right.
And then that's when the Shakespeare guy comes speeding past. And I thought it was quite funny that it takes 2 seconds to pull him over. Like 𝗚𝗂𝘃𝘃's doing his super textbook perfect pullover. Just to show again how like a stickler for the rules and how good he is and all that.
Exactly exactly. Stickler for the rules, perfect analogy.
And that's how they get the tickets, because the Shakespeare guy is like sort of apologizing for his behaviour.
Yeah, by trying to get out of it as well. He's bribing him.
But so the next day they're like, they get the tickets. They're like, "Oh, he left the tickets for you." And he's like, "Sorry, we can't accept gifts from someone we have officially rebuked."
Yeah. And then the bloody sergeant or captain comes out.
He's like, "Oh, I got some tickets for you.
Yeah, can you please represent us down at the local blah, blah, blah?"
Whatever it was, the Shakespeare thing, yeah.
Yeah, the Shakespeare there. I can't remember the name of it.
So they didn't actually accept the guy's tickets. They used the inspector's tickets, but I thought that was funny.
It's a shame because it doesn't feel like that, because you still have to fucking go and it looks like he accepted the tickets.
So then we go to the Shakespeare thing.
Yep, it's shit as you'd expect. I've just got when they walk out of there.
I love the look on Nick's face throughout the show. He's like, looks so horrified.
Oh yeah, he looks like it's horrible. Yeah. He's like, what the hell did they think? What were they thinking?
And so before they walk out, I think his name is Skinner, and that's the grocery store owner. He says to the girl, the girl actress, he's like, I'm sure if we bash your head in, all sorts of secrets will come tumbling out. I was like, okay.
It's like a little.
I'm like, what's going on? Hey, something there. I mean, of course I know what happens, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's just because we've watched it.
Yeah, but I would probably...
But I think I could imagine in the first time viewing, you would kind of notice because it is kind of menacing, isn't it?
People don't normally say that.
No, not at all.
And then they're on the way out. So what have you got for that?
Yeah, just for where they're coming out, how I love how he says to that actor, the awful actor, he's like, oh yeah, and drive safe.
Yeah.
And Danny goes, oh my gosh, you know that's the guy we done for speeding earlier. Like he doesn't understand that.
Yeah, he's like,
the joke that he's making. That's hilarious. How innocent he is, kind of.
But that's not even necessarily a joke. That could be like honest concern. Like you were speeding, so please drive safe. You know.
Yeah,
have to be
kind
of
is, but well, it's not like necessarily a joke, but it's a jab. It's a little, it's a something. You know what I mean?
It's a poke in that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's more what I meant. It's a bit.
And so, of course, he doesn't drive safe because he gets murdered. I mean, you see that.
That's got nothing to do with his driving.
No, I know. So you see the Grim Reaper dude, his head gets cut off, and they make it like a traffic accident where they got decapitated.
Well, I can decapitate. What a way to go out.
I know, right?
Yep. And bloody what's-his-face comes driving past while they're doing their investigation.
And did you hear he was playing on the radio at the same time as he drives past?
I can't remember, but I know it's...
it was
you go.
Romeo and Juliet, whatever, that song where they say that, you know, like that.
And it's the same as in later where he does it as well, where he's...
Oh, yeah, different song.
Yeah, different song playing, but it's connected to the explosion at the rich guy's house. Yeah,
because the play that the actors did was Romeo and Juliet, so that's why they put that on the radio. But you know that rock song, that Romeo and Juliet one, 70s.
Kind of. Yeah, I can't think of it now, but when I heard it, I knew what it was.
Yeah. And then that's when Nick starts to get suspicious after the guy drives by.
Yeah.
And that's right. He's like, what do they call it? We call it a traffic collision. And Dan's like, why don't we call it a traffic accident? Because it implies no one's to blame.
No one's to blame, exactly. Yeah. And that's like a hint. I like just after that, because when Officer Angle, when he's got the suspicion, he's now back at the precinct, and they talking to the people trying to he's like asking questions, but they're like wondering why he's so suspicious. He's like, no, but accidents happen all the time. And then he's like, well, you never know, because there could be someone's carrying a gun or whatever. He's like, but everyone and their mums are packing around here. Like who? Farmers. Who else? Farmers' mums.
Farmers and their mums.
Hilarious. Yeah. Well, that was a good little scene.
So there's a funny bit there because they get called up to go to the farm to talk to the old guy. And they take that
the old guy, and they need the interpreter.
That whole scene is so funny. They're like, so the old guy says something, mumbles something, and then the old officer that came with him, he says something else that no one can understand. And then finally Danny does it.
He interprets him for the last time just so that bloody Nicholas can understand.
And then there's one bit there where they're like, the guy says he's like, I suppose. And then the other guy's like, I suppose. And then Danny's like, yes, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, we understood him all 3 times.
Same with later where he's like, I does for this one. He does for this one, whatever. And then they see his arsenal in the shed. And then when he taps the like, you know, that he's like, oh, it's the 𝗙𝗵, it's deactivated, and then they tap it and it starts clicking, starts bloody clicking, and they run out like thinking it's going to explode. They jive over the top, and you know, it doesn't explode, and then he's what's his name? Nicholas is making the call to the station saying, explaining what's happened, and he's like, yeah, apparently it's been deactivated, and then the old man taps it and goes, yeah, that's right, deactivated, but in his mumbling, and even then Danny and even then Danny actually he interprets him for him as well, like he says deactivated, but we heard it already. He did the same thing there as he did before.
And that's where they get what's his name? Not Shaun, fucking Angel.
Nicholas.
I keep getting confused. Nicholas is like,
no, that's fair. We watched them both consecutively.
Yeah, he's like, do you have a license for that gun? And he's like,
I does for this one.
Yeah, I do for this one. And then he's like, what do you mean by this one? And
then that's when they see the arsenal.
They got a room full of guns, and they take it back to evidence at the station, and you get a montage of them walking in with thousands of guns.
Which is where they get the guns for later on.
Yeah. So what do you got next?
Awful actor, blah blah blah. I like there's what's his name? Where he's at the pub and he's gone out with Danny, and Danny's like convinced him to have a drink. Nicholas is like, all right, so, Mr. Porter, what's your wine selection? And he replies like, we got red or white. And that's where Nicholas is like, all right, fine, I'll have a pint of lager. Because I'm guessing if you like red wine, you don't want to hear that the only option for red wine is red wine.
Because then you're like, okay, it's going to be shit. So don't even bother. So that's where Danny does the thing with his eye.
Yeah, with the with the tomato sauce
packet.
The
tomato sachet and stabs his eye with the fork, and then Nicholas thinks he stabbed himself. So that's
Wait, say that word again. Say it's a.
What word?
I've never called it a sachet.
Sachet.
Yeah, I've always called it a sachet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I didn't even know there was another pronunciation. My mind is blown.
Oh, is that? Oh, it's the same word. I'm just saying it differently. Yeah. Because it's spelled the same. Because sachet is spelled.
It is too. No, you're right.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Because I've heard both. I've definitely heard both. Okay. Yeah. Weird. Anyway, sorry for that little tidbit. Anyway, back into it.
I thought I didn't pronounce something properly, and you were.
No. I've heard both ways, but I didn't even consider that they were connected or possibly the same word, which they are.
There you go. Because I thought they were similar words, but no, they're spelled the same, so they are. Yeah. They're just different pronunciations. Yeah.
I think one's fancy, one's French. Ooh.
And then again, Skinner's there and threatens some dude about. He said, he'll be in bits tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll be in pieces or something. And so, no, you're right. That's right.
Murder again. The house blows up, and that guy's dead. So that's the second murder. And then again, that's when they're at the crime scene, and then that Skinner drives by again.
And he's got another fucking song playing as well.
Yeah,
that has something to do with that.
Yeah, and also,
and that's when, is that not where Nicholas notices, he's like, yeah, but this is so far away from town, and why would he be out? Like, you know, he's super suspicious of Skinner specifically.
Yeah, and also while they're at the crime scene, this isn't, I thought this was a thing, but I don't think it is, because one of the officers there says, because the reporter's there, and one of the officers says, I'll take care of the reporter. I'm thinking, what do you mean by take care of?
Is that kind of a little, maybe it is.
I don't think that's connected though, because...
But we can believe, all right?
Yeah. Because later on, that officer's not bad.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's...
No, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
So I was a bit confused as to that. So I think that mustn't have been a thing, but... When I first saw it before I got to the end, I thought, okay, that could be something. So, yeah. And then what happens after that? What's your next note?
So we got Well, I mean, I just got a quick little note about the overall kind of movie thing. Like, I think one reason why I really like this movie and Shaun of the Dead and whatever, because it's a bromance movie, and I don't mean like it is like a romance between the two guys, but it's
a friendship. Yeah,
it's a friendship movie, you know what I mean? It's not
like best friends,
it's not focused on about like, oh, and then I've got to get the girl and get married, you know, it's not that standard life stuff, which is kind of nice to see in a movie. Yes, you need them in other movies, but in this it was good that it wasn't just like fucking, Andy gets married as well. It's like, we didn't fucking need, like, okay, but there's other shit. There's a fucking dark side of the city that's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought I really liked that side of it.
This style of like the bromance thing, it's like they're friends, they have an argument, and they get back together. It's that kind of dynamic.
It is almost, it's pretty much a romance, but it's just between bros.
Which is your typical, like, it's the same as a romance where they like each other, something bad happens, and then he ends up running to get back together. Always running to an airport. That's always the
what is it? Setup, incident, conclusion.
Yeah.
That's essentially the three.
And it's simple and it works. So
yeah.
Sometimes you've got to keep it simple.
All right.
I think this is where, do you want to talk about the church fight? Anything have a fair at the church?
Oh yeah, leading up to the I mean, obviously that's where we get 𝗙𝗂𝘃𝘃 and all that because you got the two guys with the mows. They're eating the Andes, bloody the Andes, because it's a bloody uphill struggle. They're eating their ice creams and like saying stuff out, wanker, prick, you know. And because doesn't what's his Tim Messenger? That's his name.
Yeah,
right?
Tim Messenger.
He comes and sees him. He's like, "I got to see you at 3:00. I'll see you around the side of the church."
To Nicholas, yeah.
Yeah. And
then, so there's a really good bit here. So they're doing the raffle, and the first name that comes out is Skinner's. And guess what? He's not there. He's in the toilet or something. And then
exactly.
And then you see the guy dressed up in the black hoodie, the Reaper, Grim Reaper looking dude. And then it cuts back to they pull out the second name. And guess who the second name was? Tim
Messenger.
Tim Messenger. And guess what? He's not there either.
He's also not there. You're almost expecting the next name to be bloody Nicholas Angel, aren't you?
Yeah. And then he's not there because he's run off.
Yeah, exactly.
That could have worked so well. They could have done that.
That could have. But so he ran off and that's where the bloody... Yeah, he's not fast enough, and Tim Messenger gets the top of the church here. The big spike thing falls down and replaces his head.
Yeah, well, you see the guy in the Grim Reaper costume push that off the roof.
Yeah, we see that, but
no one else does. No one else does.
But I just think about that impact there, that massive rock. Just think about it. Yeah, how realistic did that seem to you?
Fairly, like I think it would definitely. You would have no head.
No, yes, I definitely agree with that. But it would go
straight
exactly.
through. Yeah.
I think there'd be a fucking crater on the ground.
But it's not as funny.
There would be. Yeah, I know. Obviously, because it's like he's like walking around. It's his head and. I do like the way that it looked like the body stumbled over the weight and like fell down. I like that. It did look cool.
It did look. It was well done for what it was. For its gimmicky.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was well done. Yeah, I mean, you don't. It just goes to show that you don't need $400 million to make
it look good.
Not necessary.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
All you need is a good story. That is the most important part of any movie, is a good story and good acting.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
definitely.
if there's
you need
no
them
effects, because there are fantastic movies that have no
zero
effects. That's right.
Absolutely. Definitely.
So it's all about story and how good your story is.
Oh, so, I've got a damn it. I got a note I was meant to bring up with you beforehand. I wanted you to bloody see it in the movie, but in my version of the movie, at 1 hour, 15 minutes and 41 seconds into the movie, just after the part where Danny gets a brain freeze. You know what I mean? Like he eats
from the ice cream. Yeah.
Yeah, he eats the ice cream, right? As they're like ripping away, and it does one of those jump cut scenes to them getting to the station. I swear to God, you can hear a transformer sound.
Okay.
I'm not kidding you. Like a you know what I mean? Like the electronic transformer sound. It was. I swear to God that I think after we finish it, you need to have a look at that.
After we're done, I'll quickly. I've got it. It's so easy. I'll just quickly go to that bit. And
do we want to pause it? Do you want to have a quick look? Is that hard?
All right. No, we'll do it. We'll leave the recording going, and I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Just give me.
I should have brought this up beforehand. That's my bad. I'll learn next time to put it at the start of the notes.
What time stamp did you say?
So 1 hour 15.
Okay, well I'm just perfectly on that.
And 41 seconds. Right. Oh, that's just before it. So it might be different in your copy, but it's literally just after Danny gets a brain freeze and he's there. It's like the cut scene towards them going to the station.
Yeah. So I'm at 1 hour 15 and now they're outside and Nicholas is all depressed.
Yeah, so they're in the car right now. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, all right. So just play it from there and have a listen until you get back, like through the cutscene. Just listen from there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I fucking heard it.
You did?
Yes. It's just after they go to the, like literally seconds after that happens, they cut to the police station and as they're walking through the door, it goes like,
Isn't that right? How bloody weird is that? The fact that I think that's a coincidence that we'd only just watched the bloody Transformers movie.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't watched that, I wouldn't have, I swear I wouldn't have even considered that would have sounded like a Transformer because that wouldn't be in my brain at that time.
I mean, it is literally,
how weird is that?
It is literally just a sound. It's not purposefully trying to do that, but yes, it sounds so close.
Oh no, no. It just sounds very similar, and I think that's just a coincidence that I picked up on it. That's all.
I'm surprised. Because I didn't notice it, but I obviously heard it. I just didn't. Yeah. So this is.
You didn't put it down.
No. So this is where they go. Your typical detective time montage, putting all the pieces together. Because Nicholas was a bit not sure what to do. Looked a bit depressed because he was proved wrong somehow, and then so this guy, so they spend the whole day going through papers and stuff and working out plots and things, and then at the end, Danny's like, maybe they were all accidents. And then bloody Nicholas is like,
after all of that, and he still thinks that it's all accidents.
It's like, no, it should be more proof that it's not an accident.
Exactly. And that's where they interrupt that to say that it's Danny's birthday.
Oh, yeah. And then
So Shaun runs off to get him a Japanese peace lily
from
as
the
a
flower
gift.
shop,
Yeah, and he happens to run into I don't know her name, sorry, but the lady who runs the flower shop.
Yeah.
And has to go inside quickly because he thinks he's got says something to Danny or whoever.
Yeah.
And he turns around and she gets bloody stabbed in the neck with shears.
Yeah, garden shears. Yeah, the murderer.
And it's yet again that bloody
Grim Reaper costume.
The Grim Reaper. Yeah, exactly. The Grim Reaper costume.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Just a big dark hood. Yeah,
big dark hoodie that the Grim Reaper wears. Then you got that, the chase scene. And so Nicholas is like a really good, and he's supposedly got the top time in the police training for running a certain distance and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And the bad guy still got away.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we understand why a bit later on, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. You're absolutely right.
It's like, why did he, there's a good reason for it, but it's like, why would, just supposed to be really fit.
It's almost another reason for the audience to like question what's going on, to go like, no, hang on, there's something else is happening. Yeah.
And then, they're at the station. Everyone's trying to seem suspicious. Everyone's like, oh no, they're all just accidents. And you're going crazy. You're imagining stuff and all this to Nicholas. all the other officers. And then, so they go and confront Skinner about the murders.
They try and that's where he looks like an idiot because he like pulls up the pant leg and there's no cut there, which he would have got from the breaking the glass.
Yeah, in the chase. Yeah.
Which makes Nicholas look more crazy to everyone else.
Yeah, and then Nicholas is like really doubting himself now and lost all
absolutely.
hope. And
as you would,
he still thinks something's going on, but he's just lost. He thinks he's fucked up or starting to doubt himself.
Doesn't he? Because doesn't he have like a meeting with the boss? What do you call it? The captain?
The inspector, I believe, is the top rank.
The what? Sorry.
Inspector, like Inspector
Gadget. Inspector. Yeah, Inspector. So the Inspector, because he goes in there and the Inspector sounds super like believe it, like he's like, oh, okay, look, just go home, sleep on it, and if you feel the same way in the morning, we'll start something. We'll open an investigation. We'll get onto it. Don't you worry. And he's like, he's just trying to get him home because he's already organised for someone to fucking take care of him.
Yeah. And that's when he goes home to the apartment and that dude, that guy from the shop.
Yeah, that buddy, what's his name? Biggin.
Yeah,
Yarp.
Yeah, so they have a fight in the apartment and Nicholas, he wins and he has to answer the radio for the big buff dude. And the guy on the phone's like, is he dead? And then Nicholas is like, yarp. And then he's like something else and he's like, yarp.
Yeah, he's like, will he get up again?
And then Shaun's, after a second there, Nicholas is like, what do I say for no?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard this guy
he's
say
like
yarp?
thinking about it.
Like, do I say yarp or do I say, she's like, nope. Like a question.
Yeah. Like he added a question mark at the end of it. You can even hear that.
Yeah, you can hear that. Oh, that was so good. And then, so this is what happens. They go to the castle.
So he's taken care of. They go to the castle thing, where it's got the caverns underneath as well.
Yeah.
And when he rocks up there, I thought it was super. Like they did a real bloody good job at they're all the hooded figures. They're all standing around the table, and they're like, "One of us." They're chanting whatever. Wait, what did they chant? Sorry, did I write it down?
Are they saying for the
greater good? Greater good, or something along those lines. And then straight out of doing that, they go straight into, and Dennis and Janice is having her baby and the baby shower. Like goes from this creepy, like they set it up to be like this really horrible scene, which is awesome. Exactly, cult fucking bloody. Maybe they're gonna do bloody sacrifices or something. You got no idea.
Sacrifice and like a Satan,
and then it cuts into yeah, exactly. And then it cuts into so-and-so's having a bloody baby shower on Wednesday.
Yeah, just like the neighborhood watch. Good. Just like what the neighborhood watch would do. So, yeah.
So they're caring, but they're a little too caring.
Yeah, so at this table where they're all chanting, it's the whole neighborhood watch.
Exactly. Everyone's there.
Yeah.
Well, by everyone, it's the neighborhood watch. Everyone that has like kind of made an appearance, and anyone who's held a walkie-talkie previously in the film.
Yeah. And I think a couple of them are officers, are they, or no? Only
I think it's just the main, the inspector
is
or
one
whatever.
of them. So then Nicholas approaches them, and I'm thinking, why the fuck would you approach? Like,
no, there's no way you'd win that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But she almost wasn't.
Maybe he doesn't believe the inspector's into it yet. So he's like, no, the cops are still right. This is something else other than it hasn't penetrated the police force.
It's just the inspector. It's not the whole force, which is why before when the guy said, I'll take care of the reporter, because later on he gets convinced that the inspector's bad. So he's not bad. So he didn't know the other officer wasn't trying to kill Tim Messenger. I don't think. That's why that got confusing. Sure. And then they chase him, and Danny saves him by, what does Danny do?
Yeah, that's right. He does the trick from earlier in the movie, doesn't he?
Yeah. So he goes to stab Nicholas, but uses a bloody sachet or a sachet.
A fucking sachet, yep. A sachet. Yep.
Of tomato sauce for the blood.
Some tomato ketchup or ketchup.
Ketchup.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah, ketchup.
Fuck me. And so then of course,
so saves him. They put him in the trunk, and Danny drives away, and they obviously think that Danny's taking care of
the mess.
Sergeant Angle.
Yeah. So I thought it was a good because you could see Nicholas like being almost disappointed that turned out Danny was bad, but he wasn't. But he thought he was. And
he thought he was, but I think
see that like, oh no, not Danny.
No, I liked him. He's the one I liked.
Yeah. Just as they started becoming friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point, there's mention of, because Danny's there with the inspector with his dad, and his dad's like saying, you need to help us out here, Danny. You can't be with Nicholas. And then at that point, I thought, did they kill Danny's mum as well? I reckon they killed Danny's mum.
I definitely have some suspicions.
The inspector might not have known, but I think the neighborhood watch. I think they killed Danny's mum.
Well, I think that, but I also think it might be possible that she was kind of in on it, like the underbelly, and then she regretted everything, and she's like, "Well, there's no way out. Everyone is connected, so she killed herself."
Yeah,
that's what Danny says. He's like, "I think she might have killed herself all over again." Like he says that a bit later in the film.
Yeah,
but yeah, like. And it's kind of that's what I think may have happened.
True.
Is more that she was involved in a little bit of it, and then when she realized how bad it actually was, like, you know, people missing and getting killed, I think maybe then she's like, one option is to try and take them down, but that won't work because there's too many of us, and one option is to end it.
This is where Nicholas goes off, starts to leave the town, and then he, for some reason, turn around and comes back. And
I think it's because he sees a Bad Boys 2 DVD.
Oh, yes. And then he thought, oh, no, I got to help Danny, at least.
No, yeah. Got to help him out of it. God, he's a brother.
Although he sees Bad Boys 2, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to be like them now. It makes him the idea to go back and fight.
And he got, because that's when he bought the glasses, and he goes back into town. He marches into through the station. The guy doesn't even notice him. Barely notice him walk past at the entrance of the station.
Yeah, and then he
gets all of his weaponries.
Yeah, and he goes to the a farm, the horses.
Oh, that's right. Farm, yeah. No, you're right. That was the first place. Yep.
No, I think they did do it. That must have been the first place.
No, he hits the farm first, and then he gets to the.
So he's at the farm, and the guy's like, "What are you just going to do? Walk in there and arrest the whole town?" And he's like, "Not exactly."
Not exactly. Yep. Doing that stereotypical like action movies lines, like straight out of bloody Bad Boys.
And then he gets all the guns from evidence. And then he rocks up. He rocks up to the town centre on a fucking horse.
On a horse, just going like clop, clop. Yeah, bloody shotguns on his back. He's got handguns tacked in. He's got those belts of bullets wrapped around his chest.
Yeah.
He's packed ready. Yeah, exactly. And then that time he's walking past. No, he's as he's walking on the horse is striding past. The lady in the shop was like, "Hey everybody, there's Nicholas Angle, and check out his horse." Referencing the ass, how they kept like they liked checking out his ass earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
Now it's his horse.
So and they end up doing all the things that Danny had asked Nick earlier, like shooting the guns in the air and all that. It all happens.
Oh yeah, yep. But that was that shooting up in the air, was that not? That was a bit later, wasn't it? That's at the church.
But all the other things, some of the other things happened.
No, you're right. They are like finishing off those little tidbits that they set seeds to earlier.
Yeah. And there's a whole heap that happens. They end up in the supermarket, and they end up in a car chase. So Skinner gets away or whatever, and then was it Nicholas and Danny jump in the car to chase them to guess where?
Yep.
Where do they end up?
To where we pretty much started the movie.
Yeah, the miniature village or the model village.
Yes.
From the side.
The model village, yeah.
Yeah. You got the notes in that once they get to the village.
As they get to the village, the fight with Skinner. I was like Jenkins for some reason, but bloody Skinner, yeah. And how it ends up, how it he tries to get the kid.
Yeah.
Then Nicholas, I can't remember what he says, but he somehow gets him to let go of the kid. Kid runs away. No, the kid steps on his foot. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
The kid helps out. Yeah, little Ranger dude. Yeah, steps on his foot. And somehow that ends in like a hand combat, and he pushes him, and he ends up with the church steeple, the bloody pinnacle of the church in his bloody straight through the underneath of his jaw and out through his mouth, which is kind of like a reference to when he pushed the top of the steeple off onto Tim Messenger.
Oh, because it's the steeple. Because that building, the building that is
it's the building. Yeah.
Right,
I thought that was quite funny because he was the one who must have done that.
And then while he's skewered and he's hanging there, he's like, oh.
Yeah, mumbling. Yeah.
I thought that was so
damn
funny.
right. That would bloody hurt, wouldn't it? Fucking hell. Oh.
I think you'd probably go unconscious, but that was so funny.
I would hope you go unconscious for something like that. Fuck, I hope I go unconscious when I break my arm for the first time. Shit, that's going to suck.
You never broken a bone before?
Not once, never broken a bone. I may have fractured some shit, but I've never gone to the doctors for it.
Oh, yeah, no, I broke my arm. No.
Okay, how'd you do that?
I was laying on the couch, and I wasn't well one day.
What age were you? When was this?
Like primary school, early
like
primary
year
school.
6 or some bullshit?
Nah, like year 4 or 5 or something.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I think I was like 10 or something. I wasn't that old.
Well, those are the times to break your limbs.
True.
Like when you. I mean, it's less relevant for you, but definitely like that's when you're flexible. Your bones are more malleable. So they can actually connect back.
I was not well one day, and I had like a temperature and stuff, so I was on the couch. And I had a dog back then. I had a little lap dog.
Yeah,
he was on my lap while I was on the couch.
Are you talking about Malteser? No, what's his name?
Scooby.
Scooby. I called him Malteser, but that's his breed.
He's a
but
Maltese,
Scooby,
absolutely whatever. And he was on my lap, and he jumped off and took my arm with him, pulled it out sideways.
Oh, wow, that sucks. Yeah. Okay.
So it wasn't his fault. He just jumped off.
No, he's just doing what he does. Yeah.
Just being a dog. And
did you have any? Did you have any like incidences like the cat jumping up on you or anything like that? Even when you're on the bed, anything where they've hurt you? No. Okay. Cats are generally more careful with that shit, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Dogs just jump up and go pat me.
So I ended up with a spiral fracture, like just below the shoulder. That bone, just that upper arm.
Okay,
bone.
yeah, that part, not your forearm, but the bicep area.
The fracture was like a perfect like ring, like a circle, just like right around the bone. Like,
it's just snapped nicely, like you'd expect.
But yeah, it wasn't like a complete break. But
now, what kind of pain was that?
I don't really remember that hurting much. Like, just turned out.
Now, obviously, that's now many years after, so maybe at the time it was terrible.
On that same day, we then went to the hospital, and then I had a broken arm, and I turned out I had pneumonia. So,
fucking hell, what a shit visit.
I don't know what was worse, the pneumonia or the broken arm,
Yeah. I wonder. I feel like pneumonia is worse. Because there's worse outcomes that are possible.
Maybe that's why I don't remember the pain of my arm.
Yeah,
so
maybe. It's the contrast, because that's just that outshines it as the worst. Yeah, maybe.
So back to the movie. So that's it. They've beat him, and right after, like, all the cops rock up, and the cops from the city where he used to work, they rock up.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
right.
You should you should come back and work for us. Like, we need you, like, because they're doing so shit, obviously.
Yeah. Because it's obviously the Force is now looking pretty bad now that the one guy that was doing any good there is gone.
You mean the one doing all the work?
All of it, yeah. Far out. And they come back begging for him, pretty much groveling.
And he's like, nah, I'm going to stay and do some paperwork.
I like it. I like Danny's face. He's like disappointed because his partner's getting asked back to go to London.
Yeah.
London. But, then he's like, no, actually, I quite like it here, and he chirps up. I like that. It's like of course you'd be feeling like that. That's awesome.
And then so this is like an after, and
the after scene
back at the station when
it's just a bit after,
final bit happens, and then
because they're like filling out all the paperwork essentially. I think that's what they're doing.
Oh, and they had forgotten about someone that was on the neighborhood watch. Oh, the guy,
investigator,
the guy, no, not the inspector, the other one, the guy with the brown coat. He was obviously the one that runs the neighborhood watch, the one that's on the surveillance system.
That's right. Yeah. Sorry, no, you're right. You're right.
Totally forgotten that he was there.
And of course, he's just hiding back where all the cameras are. He was just watching his whole bloody village get decimated, and he's just sitting there hiding away. Little prick.
And then he goes to shoot Nicholas, and then Danny
jumps in the way. Yeah.
And then the sea mine blows up.
I like, that's right. And then they dig the rubble up and they find Danny, and they kind of make it feel like he died, maybe.
Yeah, because they go and it's like 1 year later, and they're going to the cemetery. Yeah. And Nicholas has got flowers, and he's going over to the grave, and they cover up half the name, and it says whatever Danny's last name is.
Exactly, and I think they've gone to see Danny's mum.
Yeah, and then it turns out no. We think Danny's dead, but
Danny's standing right next to him.
He's standing right next to his mum's grave.
But I like that in that scene, just as they're like zooming out as he's walking towards, like with the flowers, he's walking out of his new village, like his little cottage. He now finally is out of the hotel, and he's walking down, and it's like it's a cool little like scene that it is a happy ending film.
Yeah, and then that's the end. Yeah. Was there anything after the credits? There wasn't.
No, that was it. That was like the zoom out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I'll start off with my closing notes here.
Yeah.
I got, obviously this is still a favourite of mine, as said earlier. I'm sure a favourite of yours too. But every couple of years, I find myself watching this movie. I just said film and movie at the same time. This film. But yeah, it's such a good movie. And if I had to try and, I wanted to ask you this question, but try and pick a better one out of this and Shaun of the Dead, where like I feel like Hot Fuzz does it for me. Like in terms of yeah, well, because I feel like they're both kind of, well, I guess this is kind of a horror, but it's less so. It's more of a mystery, isn't it? It's like a comedy mystery.
Yeah.
But out of both of these two movies in watching it the past week, which one did you enjoy more?
I reckon Shaun of the Dead was a bit more simpler, and I found myself finding more bits funnier in Shaun of the Dead than this one.
Yeah, okay.
No,
I think we have a bit of a differing opinion there, because I think I found this one of my favourite.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, I'll just tell you what I rated. I rated the same as Shaun of the Dead for me.
Yeah, same for
9
me
out
too.
of 10. But I mean, I'm guessing yours is a 7.
Yeah, I did the same.
And but I think because like I remember getting given Shaun of the Dead, like someone showing me, but then I found Hot Fuzz by myself, kind of thing.
Okay.
Like when it first, I'm remembering back in the day, I kind of felt like it was like my movie almost. I know it's not that selfish to think about, but I think you can understand, like it was. I chose it and I started like it, and then I showed my brothers, and I went out of my way to like introduce it to other people. Not that it's mine, I put no effort into it, obviously. I'm being selfish.
I mean, you introduced me to Shaun of the Dead, you probably also told me about this one too, I'm pretty sure.
I probably told you about him right around the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I might have come across Hot Fuzz as well, but I'm pretty sure it was, you told me at the same time as well. Like,
yeah.
It all happened close together.
No, I'm not saying my movie is not your movie, but you know what I meant. Like, because you do feel that way, even with music and stuff, when you find a band that, let's say, no one else in your family likes, but you do, it does feel personal. It is really your band, isn't it? It does feel like that.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, no, so I'll wrap it up there. I gave it a 9 out of 10 just for all the little, the tidbits just for the fans, the Easter eggs. I love all that shit. The jump scenes, again, a little bit disorientating. I found them a bit worse in this one than Shaun of the Dead. Like, it did feel a bit like, I don't know, it was like ambushing your eyes. It cut a lot for just the cut scenes. Obviously not the standard scenes.
They probably had a similar cameraman and a similar director and stuff, so it probably...
Oh, it's definitely the same director.
So definitely they would have used the same camera crews, and so all that would have come across from Shaun of the Dead. So that same camera style is the same in this as well.
Yeah, definitely. So what about yours? You got any technical?
Yeah, minus the film grain. It wasn't so grainy.
Oh, okay.
Still had a little bit, but I think that's just the cameras.
See, I wonder with the film grain, I wonder maybe if that is because this movie was released 3 years later, so maybe this was released in 1080p.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have the grain in it. I wonder if it's the upscaling of the movie to try and make it, better quality. I wonder if that has something to do with that. Or maybe it doesn't and it is just an effect to give it a feel.
Because there is a bit of both. There is a bit of, if you film on film, you will get film grain. Like, that's what happens. So,
okay.
But there also is, digital cameras don't do it. So, but they also do add it in because some people like the old style, they like that feel, they like that look. So sometimes it's intentional. But sometimes it is just part of the process. Especially if you're in a dark scene and you crank the ISO on the camera to make it pick up more light in a dark situation, that makes it grainy too. So it depends on a lot of factors.
A lot of things, yeah.
But I did think if it was not the upscaling, then in Shaun of the Dead that was intentional. If it wasn't upscaling.
Yeah, okay.
Because when you upscale stuff, you still do want to put film grain back in to cover up certain things. Otherwise it's too crisp and too precise. So they do that a lot too. But yeah, so I mean, I thought the acting was, again, perfect for what it was. It's not a serious movie. You don't need serious actors, so yeah. But still good actors to do that. The music, again, was atmospheric at the right points. Made it.
Yeah, I noticed less of background music definitely in this.
Yeah.
I didn't see any.
There were a couple of times where they used like spooky background music and stuff to help set the scene.
Oh yeah, when he was like in the catacombs, when he was finding out that the other inspector that got taken out because like the great big bushy beard, but I know what you mean. The atmospheric music.
My last thing I had was it's like how long does it go for? 2 hours and something.
2:20.
2:20. I felt like it was a long movie. I felt that it was just a bit something. There was just a bit of too much excess. Like it would have been better if it could have been shorter.
No, that's fair because it isn't a serious movie, so maybe they did go overboard. I could see that.
It just feels, I mean, there wasn't too many scenes where it was like, oh, hurry up, but they really went over the murder stuff. 3 people got murdered before stuff started to happen, So they didn't need as many murders. I don't know, but the content's all good. I just felt for a movie it was a bit long.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Because especially it's not like an action epic where you need a lot of time to explain not just the story, but there are 7 epic battles plus this plus that. Like, obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is like Avatar. There's a reason why that's so long of a movie, like because it's jam packed.
Those movies, like the Marvel ones, and what did you just say? Avatar. Those are the sort of movies that I just want more. Like, I don't care if it goes for 3 hours. I don't care if it goes for 6 hours. I love it. I just want more of it. But,
No, I definitely get that.
For other movies and like this one, I felt that, a bit too long. Even,
no, I get that.
I don't know how you'd make it shorter, but it just felt too long.
Because I like the way you're putting it as well, because you're saying it does feel a bit too long, but at the same time, you didn't feel any of the scenes were drawn out. No, it's just you felt like maybe it could have been, some scenes could have been left on the, the editing floor.
I mean, they probably could have shortened some scenes for like a second or two, but there's not much. And it wouldn't have saved
but that wouldn't
minutes.
have saved much time. Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what's your wrap-ups? What do you think?
Just quickly on the budget, it was $8 million.
Oh, yeah.
Budget, and they made $80 million. So slightly higher.
Very similar.
Slightly higher budget and maybe double the box office.
But like comparable, very similar in a way. Like
the ratios and all that.
Is very popular. They did well. Yeah.
Yeah. And considering
that's cool.
This came out 1 year after, or was it 2 years after?
3 years. 3 years after.
3 years after, so that's pretty close. And movies didn't cost like $8 million. It's a pretty big budget for back then, I think, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah.
That was above average for the time. Yeah. So I've got one thing I just wanted to say before we do the rating. The trivia. So there was a bit in the IMDb that I read that it said, when in costume, Nick Frost and Simon Pegg were often assumed to be real police officers. So strangers walking past would like ask them for directions and stuff, and it says here, instead of telling the truth, they went along with it and like pretended they were cops sometimes.
Why wouldn't you? You'd just be nice to them.
and it says here, they claimed it made them feel powerful.
Oh, bloody as it would. That is power.
Probably not nowadays, though. No one seems to respect police officers anymore.
Yeah, a little bit different now. You're very right.
I mean, I would never talk back to
anarchy.
Would you respect a police officer if you got in trouble or something?
Wait, say that again. Would I trust a cop? Like, would I?
No.
Is that what you're asking?
Would you respect? Would you be rude to a cop? Would you talk back?
No. Look, it depends what their demeanor is out of the gate. If they're already out of the gate, give me your license, give me this. I'm gonna be. Why did you pull me over, mate? Like that's just the way to. But if I think that's just a rule of thumb with everyone. I think if you're nice to me, I'm going to be nothing but nice.
Yeah. So I mean, because a lot of people, regardless of the cop's demeanor, will be like, "Oh, you're an asshole," and straight away be.
But that's them, judging the book by the cover. I can understand it, especially like if you've been brought up in a situation where cops are always seen as the bad guy, and then you're obviously going to have that feeling inside of you. You can't help that. Yeah, you just got to try and change it.
But I do feel like these days a lot of police are not respected like they should be.
I also think, because I struggle to believe that a human should be a police officer, because humans are emotional, and a police officer should be completely analytical. It should be pragmatic. This is right. This is wrong. I don't care if you yelled names at me. It's got nothing to do with that. This is right. This is wrong. Yeah. I've got to take you in because of these rules, not because you spat in my face. Now I'm pissed off and I want to one-up you, so I'm going to drag you down to the police station.
That's right. That's all wrong.
There's... Yeah, and it's a bloody complicated issue.
So so I gave mine a 7 out of 10.
And I gave mine a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, same as Shaun of the Dead. So I guess those are both similar to us on terms
very similar, obviously. Like they're both movies are comparable to each other for each other.
No, not the same movie, but same.
No, like the scores.
the same things that got us interested. Yeah.
Alrighty, so I think we should wrap it up. I reckon
that's it for today.
Yeah, good talking to you, Stephen.
Yeah,
lovely audience. Would love for you to go have a look at our Facebook page, chuck a like and a follow on that, and head over to our Anchor page and listen to it wherever you listen to your podcasts. That'd be awesome.
And that would be Macrocosm Cast.
Just chuck it in Google, search Macrocosm Cast or Macrocosm Podcast. I'm sure you'll be able to find it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Beautiful.
See you next time.
No, thank you. See ya.